everybody. Welcome to our podcast.
Dajahao, everyone.
Oh, okay. So I want to check in with you. We haven't checked in with each other for a long time.
A quick check-in. Okay. What's to say? My belly's big now. I'll
Yes.
try and put a picture in. I'm going to start adding pictures and GIFs and memes and things into these videos for people who watch it on YouTube. So if you're someone who watches it on our Spotify or Apple Play, then please try and find us on YouTube. I'm going to
Or
try
even
and
on our
edit some...
Instagram, yeah?
Yeah, try and edit some more fun videos. So I'll put a picture up.
How many weeks
here.
are you now?
Oh. I'm 27, nearly 20. I'm 28 on Sunday.
You're in your third trimester already.
I'm in my third trimester and he's moving a lot and I love it. I love it. I love it. I've heard so many people complain about their babies moving and I love it. Every time I feel him move, I'm like, he's okay.
Yeah.
Like he's still okay.
It just gives you such comfort, eh?
Yeah, I love it. I love that feeling. So feeling really a bit overwhelmed being pregnant and working at the same time. It's not easy, but enjoying life and enjoying being pregnant somewhat, dying for a glass of wine. But
I know you were talking about that.
Yeah. I keep dreaming about drinking.
More wine! More wine! More wine!
And I'm at a party or an event with a friend and then I have a drink because I'm like, I can drink now. And then I remember I'm pregnant. I'm like, what have I done? And then I freak out and I keep having that same dream. So I'm really excited to have a nice glass of red wine once this is all over. How about you?
Just talking about dreams, I dreamt last night that I was eating like junk food and like really full. And I woke up this morning feeling really full, but I didn't eat any bad stuff last night. I've been trying to be really good. I have a wedding in South Africa in January. So I'm not trying to like lose a lot of weight. I'm just trying to be at a nice weight for my body goals in a healthy way. No bad
Feel
weight,
comfortable.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So I've been eating really healthy, really good. And I'm going to have one day a week where I can have like whatever I want without feeling guilty. So yes, that's something that I'm going towards. My weeks have been really, you know what it's like. We work together. It's terrible. It's just overwhelming, stressed. Then put the parenting in the mix. And I feel really overwhelmed at the moment. But it's a long weekend here in Taiwan, guys, the Moon Festival. So
yes.
We're all relaxing now.
Yeah, it's really nice. And we're going to quickly mention something about our previous episode, but going back into life being stressful is something that we're going to talk about today. And I'll introduce that topic in a second. So first, last week, we were discussing with the wonderful Angela Chang what a doula is and how a doula can help you. The previous week to that, we were talking about weight gain with Nadia and gestational diabetes. And we had someone, OBGYN, call in, right? Yeah. And message in about some of the comments that we'd made and gave us some really interesting facts, which I believe we have, right?
She says that she listens. So she said, hey, I am an OBGYN in Taiwan. I've been listening to your podcast and feeling like I have to point out, and then in brackets, she says, correct a few points regarding pregnancy. Number one, gestational. Sorry, I keep saying it wrong, guys. Gestational diabetes. We use the same standards of 75 grams OGTT as all Western countries do. Nadia asked about obesity or underweight affecting pregnancy. The answer is both would affect pregnancy, but obesity causes way more complications than underweight. Okay, number three, the research that Kat has done so far is mostly correct regarding how much weight you can put on during pregnancy and your BMI. So I think it's so lovely for her to send this in, and it's so nice to, get some feedback, because as we always say for our podcasts, we are not professionals. We are
not doctors.
Yes, we're not doctors. We're just saying what we have experienced in Taiwan. And this is why we want to bring it up, just because we want to make sure that you know that this is from our point of view. And I think also when we talk about obesity and underweight, I was actually talking about, I think in the previous podcast, about babies being born underweight, not underwater, underweight.
Women not eating enough because they feel that if they give birth to a baby that is smaller, then it will be easier.
Yes.
And
so
like
this
we
is
said,
what I
that
was
woman
meaning.
in Japan, right?
Yeah.
It was the same. We'd taken the article from that woman in Japan, and that seems to be a thing over there, that women are trying to say as small as they can while pregnant, and most of it being because that they want to deliver a smaller baby because they think it's going to be easier for them.
So I'm not saying that obesity and being thinner is good or bad. Like as I say, I was not the best example. I gained a lot of weight and I did not have gestational diabetes, but what I was talking about is that when doctors tell you, it felt like they were saying to keep your baby small and not keep you small. Like maybe I am a skinny person, but my baby is of normal weight, then it's fine. But as soon as they're always like, oh, your baby's big, measuring bigger, you know, you need to watch out because you want to keep your baby smaller so it's easier. I understand that. What I mean is, with having an underweight baby, you can have a lot more complications than having a baby of normal weight.
Yes.
This is what I've researched. And my baby was normal, like very average weight when she was born. Touch wood, did not have any problems. But I have a lot of friends who had babies here who weighed in at 2.5 kilograms, and they've had their baby in the ICU because they were too small. But that's actually,
but also I researched about this and found out something quite interesting, actually. It doesn't just affect the baby after they're born. It can actually affect the baby's development, which will affect them later on in life. Yes. So, you know, a couple of hours of pain for the mother, or a lifetime condition for your child. Yeah. You know, these
but it's
are
not every child. So, you know,
No.
we're not saying like, oh, your baby's born small, you're going to have these problems. I'm just saying
No.
Because as a new mom, you take everything your doctor says and you make it magnified. So you tend to like take it to heart because you don't want to do something that's going to hurt your baby, right? So when a doctor says to you to you know, keep your baby small, some people might take it to the extreme because for them, they're like, my doctor said it was fine. And some people might not. So I did ask her to give us some facts about the gestational diabetes. So here are the facts. She says that in Taiwan, we also test pregnant women for gestational diabetes at 25 to 28 weeks. Most cases, if diagnosed with GDM, can be controlled with diet modifications and blood sugar monitoring. Severe cases would require medication or insulin, and some of these women might be having undiagnosed pre-gestational diabetes. Although one of the risk factors is obesity, I've seen several normal women weighing normal weight with this condition. Normally, we as OBGYNs in Taiwan would not tell them not to eat or control their weight. What we would do is educate them what to eat and what to avoid. Simply sugar things such as cake, dessert, chocolates, candy, sugary drinks, fruits that are too sweet should be avoided or lowered in the amount they consume. Instead, they can choose food that is whole grain, muesli, unsweetened. Okay, so basically, so please do understand that I'm not trying to convince you that you should always follow the doctor's advice, because some OBGYNs, elder in brackets, can be wrong and they barely update their knowledge or change their beliefs. In the real world, medical fields, young doctors encounter conflicts between what we learn nowadays and what they did learn back in the day.
That's really, can I stop you?
Yes.
That's really interesting because that is what Angela was saying to us as well. And what we spoke about on the last episode was older doctors teaching younger doctors, but not adapting
or
their
updating,
knowledge or updating their knowledge. Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad that she understands that.
Yes. And thank you, Kathleen.
That.
We are so happy that you wrote to us.
Thank you so much. It's good to get
clarifying that
advice.
Because, you know, we don't know. We just get told you know, and we try to research, but we're not doctors and we don't do this. So it is so nice to actually learn something new.
Yeah. We're just casually having a conversation about our own experience. So we're not wrong. We're not right. It's just what we've experienced.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go on to today's episode, and it's not really baby related at all. We're going to flip the switch a little bit here and hopefully reach a new audience, but open a discussion, because I was saying to Cheryl that oh God, when was it? Probably about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. I started therapy for my health anxiety.
Yeah.
And I hate to throw the word anxiety around because so many people claim anxiety, do have anxiety. And if you really do have an anxiety disorder, it's really not nice. Now, mine isn't an anxiety disorder about anything. It is just about health. And it's through things that I've seen in my past. So I went to see a therapist about it, and he made a comment to me. He said, most of his clients are late 20s to early 30s, mostly in their early 30s, from 30 to around 34. And I was like, oh, really? He went, yes, that is when most people come and seek therapy. I'm not sure what the numbers are on that, but it's a quarter life crisis.
Yes.
So today we want to discuss that and hopefully open some conversations. And if you are a listener at home and you can message us and tell us about your experiences, we can read out on the podcast next episode. That will be great. But we're both, I mean, how old are you, Cheryl?
I am 32.
You're 32.
Yes. So
yeah, I'm
32.
1990. I'm 33. We're going through that right now.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the best thing for us to discuss because we're actually experiencing that right now. We're both going through some similar struggles, and the things that they say, what a midlife crisis is what we're going through right now. So I'm just going to quickly read to you. I found this article from Bradley University, and it just quickly defines what a quarter life crisis is. So often the 20s and early 30s are thought to be the best time of a person's life, which people always say, right? Individuals in this age range are genuinely in good health, have minimal responsibilities, and are able to explore opportunities and take chances in both their professional and private lives. However, it is becoming increasingly clear that young adults are not free of the stresses that come later in life. In fact, many people in this stage of their life experience periods of uncertainty and anxiety during which they question their goals, plans, and even relationships. Yeah. Professionals have named this occurrence the quarter life crisis. And I do think we all do that. We all, around this age now, in your early 30s, I think everyone can say they have some sort of redefining moment where they look deeply into self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say, like, your experience of being in your 30s now?
I feel like I'm going through a lot of that because there's a lot of changes, right?
But we choose to make these changes, right?
Yes, but also it's like at work, I decided I was fine in my old role. And then this year I was like, okay, let me just take on a new role. And it's overwhelming. It's new. And then you don't know like what you're doing with your life. Like I do think about like, oh, do I want to be here forever? No, I don't. And then I feel like I don't have control in my marriage relationship, in my child relationship. And so
your work relationship,
my work relationship too, like everything just seems up in the air. And the only thing I have control, as you can see, my hair looks great now, but you know, I have a thing. It did not. I have a
before.
thing.
I'm also going to do a before and after of Cheryl's hair, so you can see what happened. And she was like, "I'm going through a crisis.
I'm going through a midlife crisis, a quarter life crisis, guys."
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't have control over anything in my life at the moment. That I felt like, okay, I need to do something different, and I always do this. I either chop my hair really short, or I diet. And so I went to the hairdresser. I said I want more streaks in. She took it as I want my whole head to be one side or one part, just a huge streak of blonde. So that's what happened, and it looked terrible. And when I went to work, I was at work the whole day like that, and you could tell probably this person's going through a nervous breakdown because I looked like a mess. I looked like I was trying to be a teenager again. But yeah, and you, why do you think you're going through a crisis as well? I think at 30 you just think you should have your life sorted out, right? And I just feel like
I don't. Like, so here it says Forbes, you know, the magazine Forbes, a quarter life crisis is defined as a period of intense soul searching and stress. And that's exactly what it is. It's one, that everyone is doing right now is comparing yourself to others, especially with social media, with the age that we're in. And we're thinking like, okay, I'm now in my early 30s. Where should I be in life? Should I have a mortgage? Should I be married? Should I have kids? Should I be on the right career path? Like, what is my career path? And I think everyone starts to really self-reflect at this point in their life and start to think, I'm not where I want to be. Like,
no. Yeah.
Okay, look, I'm pregnant. I'm very blessed to be pregnant. I feel very blessed to be pregnant, that I'm fortunate enough to carry a child. I didn't think I would be able to after my ectopic pregnancy. I earn good money. My husband earns good money. We own a property. I'm doing what society says is pretty good, but yet I'm not happy. And why am I not happy? That's the question. And if we all knew that, then maybe we wouldn't be going through this intense soul searching.
Yeah. I just think also it sounds like a perfect life, right? When you explain it like that. And I just want my listeners to know, like, we're not complaining. It's just something that everyone's goals and everyone's life purpose is different to someone else's, right? So for me, I think it's also because once you have a child, I had my daughter at 29, 28. I was pregnant at 28. And so like, I think after becoming a mom, I kind of lost myself and I like don't look like myself as I was before. Like now I feel like I really gained my confidence back, but I lost a lot of confidence when I had my daughter. I didn't know who I was. And then I started working. I still don't know who I am. I still feel like I have a lot of anxiety when I meet old friends, when people don't understand where I'm coming from, when I explain, like, I don't have time for this, but I have time for this. Like, I don't have time to go to the gym, but I do have time to spend time with my child. But not saying that they don't spend time when they go to the gym. I just don't have time for that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yes, we have all these things that tick the box. Like when you were naming it, I was like in my head, I was like, yeah, we both have jobs. I just wonder why I feel so trapped. Like I feel trapped in my job.
Do you think because we make such important decisions in our 20s that maybe we're not ready to make, and then when we hit our 30s, we think, well, actually, do I want to have a mortgage? Do I want to be tied down? Is this actually a good investment? Is this the person I should have married?
Yes.
Like, especially after you have kids, right? It changes your relationship, your dynamics. So you really start to question, like, have I made the right choice with the person I'm with the job I've chose, with the house I'm living in? And again,
and the environment, like I just question all the time why I'm in Taiwan. Because it's not something I want my child to grow up in, because I grew up in South Africa. Everything is open. Children can be barefoot. Children can be expressive. And not saying that Taiwanese are not. I just feel like they're very, if you are different, it's something bad and not good. They don't like it. Like the other day, someone at work said, oh, how's Kira doing at school? And I'm like, she's doing really great. Oh, but my child said that she still puts things in her mouth. I was like, is that a negative thing? She's 3. I don't know why does your child not put things in his mouth? So for me, I just feel like, wow, I get judged even with a small thing. There's something negative still brought up. It's never. But then
we had this discussion, and then the other day over dinner, and these things are irritating you in Taiwan, but you're just swapping irritations from one country to another country. What's going to irritate you if you were to go to South Africa? There's going to be different irritations.
I think the irritations,
because you've never been a mother in South Africa,
and that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried, like, am I seeing South Africa through tinted rose glasses? Like, is the grass really greener on the other side, or am I just not remembering it as
exactly
it's supposed to be?
And this is one point that they say is to shows that you're going through a quarter life crisis. But honestly, I think this is just everyone in life. Difficulty making decisions. And it says here, difficulty making decisions and not knowing what you want is common for those experiencing a quarter-life crisis. It feels as if the possibilities are endless, and you begin to get caught up in wanting to know every single little detail. You are filled with a fear of failure or missing out on other opportunities.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't want to move back to England because I know what England is. I know what the education system is. I know what it's like to live there. And I know how everyone is going through a really difficult time in England right now. It's not easy. Like crisis. It's really tough living in England. So for me, I know I am better off in Taiwan. But if I was to write a list of the positives of being in England and the positives of Taiwan, I still think Taiwan would outweigh. But those things that you still say are still things that I don't want for my child either. But I know unless you really know what you want and you sort yourself out, I think just moving around to different countries is just taking your problems with you.
But the thing is that it's something I feel we will fit in better if we were there, because it's just very different to what I thought Taiwan would be. Like, I didn't think I would have such issues making mom friends, making any type of friend in general until I moved here. Like, I feel like it's really hard to make Taiwanese friends. And then at the same time, when I make mom friends, it's like I have only like a few good ones because the other parents will think you're too relaxed, or they see the way I look and they already judge me before they even get to know me. And
I just find it really interesting. As you tell me everything that you're feeling, I'm looking at the article that I wanted to reference back to, and you're going step by step of what they say you have if you are going through a midlife crisis. So you've literally just moved on to this topic, and the next one is feelings of isolation and loneliness.
And I really feel alone. Like, really, I have you. I love that I met you. I'm very grateful, and I'm very grateful for all my friends that I have. But I really feel alone. I've told my mom this, like, there's some days, even if I don't have friends in South Africa, I feel like I'll be close to family. And I don't know. Sorry.
I know what you mean. No. I know what you mean. I'll give you a break for a second.
Yeah.
Because I feel the same. Like, I've got you, and I've got probably like a handful of really close friends here, and that is it. Yeah. I don't have a lot of friends. I've never been someone who keeps a big group of friends, just a small, good quality group of friends, you know? Yeah. And I'm not by my family either, and I'm about to have a baby. Yeah. So that I also have that feeling of like loneliness. But then what I do feel happy about is I constantly get messages, and I'm constantly get phone calls, and I'm so busy with work that it's hard for me to feel as lonely. But I do worry that when I'm become like a stay-at-home mum for a couple of months, I'm not going to be busy anymore. And then I'm really going to see that void in my life, like more than I would have if I was in England. I'm just going to touch on what it says here for feelings of isolation and loneliness. So during a quarter-life crisis, negative self-talk can fester, convincing you to withdraw and isolate yourself from others. Negative self-talk can convince you that no one wants to be around you, nobody likes you, etc. Additionally, you can find yourself becoming more irritable around others, and your patience might wear thin. That is me, 100%.
Me too.
As a result, you push others away or withdraw, which leaves you with increased feelings of isolation and loneliness.
Yeah.
So I think I wonder how other people feel about that haven't moved to different countries.
Yeah.
Would we still be feeling this if we lived in our home countries?
Yes, you would. It's you're gonna feel isolation no matter what. I have like, when you talk about your pregnancy and you're alone, I feel like I felt that, but not as bad as I feel it now. Like, I felt alone, and we were during COVID. My mom couldn't come. My mom couldn't come. No one could come. And
the dog's barking. You're on mute still.
I just feel like I was alone, but I felt like, okay, I can do it. It's like, it's fine. We talk every day. I didn't think that much into it. I didn't feel so alone. And now it can also be because, my marriage, my husband was in a really bad accident. And before that, I was feeling like I was a single parent. Not that he doesn't help me. It's just when you are the default parent, automatically you're going to do everything no matter what. And then after his accident, I really felt like the whole world's problems were on my shoulders. And if I can't get it done, my whole family's going to fall apart. And then if he died, God forbid, because he did almost die, it was a very serious accident. Like when people talk to me about it, I get emotional. Like, as you can tell, I cry instantly because I feel like I have a lot of things bottled up, and I never used to cry so easily. It's just recently I'm more sensitive because I'm feeling all these emotions inside. And I just feel like a lot of resentment because my husband was in an accident, not his fault, but it's just, I feel like it always ends up, I have to make the solution for the family. And if it doesn't go well, it's my fault because I am the one who has to make all of the decisions because he was, in hospital in ICU for such a long time. And ever since then, I've just been feeling this overwhelming anxiety that I'm not doing my family justice and that I'm not happy. And I don't know what's making me unhappy.
And this is why it's a crisis, because we don't know exactly what we need to do to make it better. And I think feeling directionless and feeling like you have no plan is another characteristic of saying that you're going through that midlife crisis. And you're trying to find ways to have a plan, and then you're also dealing with the not being able to make a decision because you're worried about which decision to make,
and then it's going to affect everyone in my family, or my future, or my daughter's future, or my husband's future. So
and I think a lot of people can relate to feeling a bit depressed. So it says here, like depression, anxiety, and feelings of angst. So during a quarter life crisis, your whole world can feel as if it has become dull, lifeless, and just overall unpleasurable. Symptoms of depression can include feeling hopeless and lacking motivation or interest in things you once enjoyed. Anxiety will have you overthinking and worrying about your life's timeline, plan, and if you're doing it right or doing enough. Lastly, feelings angst or even jealousy might have you feeling frustrated and overcritical of where you are in this season of your life. And I think that
it's
all
so
of us
true.
Feel jealous, and we all listen to other people. And one thing that we all need to stop doing is thinking that other people are doing better than us.
Like,
because
I see
what's your better?
I know. And it's like this girl from school that I know. She had a baby a long time ago. Like, her child is probably 5. And she's got a banging body now, but that's her job. It's her job to have a banging body. And it's just like when she posts, like, I have her on Instagram and I've had to like ignore her posts because she's always like, if I can do it, so can you. It's lazy. And it just like, even that makes me, I have jealousy because she has like the body that I kind of want, but I know that I don't work hard enough to have that body. What I'm saying is, like, it just irritates me that she has said that, and I shouldn't be irritated. It's just her post. But for me, I'm just like, I can't see that right now. It's triggering towards me. Anything. My very close friend was like sending me things like what I post, and then saying things like, oh, I'm also going through a tough time, and I just can't deal with it. Like, I just switch off and I don't even reply to it, only because I was like, I cannot deal with you right now because I'm really going through it really bad.
But I think that's why social media is difficult for people, because it will exasperate the feeling that everyone is doing better than you, and when they're posting their best life, they're not posting their realistic life. We all know that. Here it says social media will exasperate the feeling that everyone is doing better than you, because on the outside it looks like everyone has it all figured out. However, they have their own feelings of self-doubt, insecurity, and uncertainty that are overcoming. Try to limit the urge or habit of comparing yourself to others and focus on your own progress. Not many people share their messy day-to-day situation until they can show impressive progress.
Yeah. And so like you've seen it at work. I haven't done this in so long, but you mentioned it at work yesterday. It was Teachers' Day. Everyone's getting gifts, and I was getting so jealous of everybody. And like that's something that I usually wouldn't even give it. Like last year, I didn't even care. I didn't get anything last year. But for some reason this year, I'm like, I really need someone to tell me I'm good at my job as well. Like I can't be shit at a parent and a partner, and now I'm being told that I'm shit at being a teacher. Like it's something that I needed that one person to give me something to make me feel like, okay, at least my life is good in this aspect. And I told this to my husband last night when I got home. I was like, you know what? I usually don't care. I usually am someone who's like haven't done this since high school. And now I feel like the whole day today, I was just like, and like I didn't get anything till lunchtime from that little girl, and it was so sweet. It made my day. And then until the end of the day, they like, Happy Teachers' Day, and that made me feel so special. But before that, I really felt like, oh my gosh,
why am I not appreciated?
Yes. And I was like, oh my God, the new girl behind me, the new teacher got such a nice chocolate thing. I don't want chocolate. What I mean is like, oh my word, I really am a shit person. Like, oh my, like I really was feeling like, oh gosh.
And I really think it's I think it's because you're going through, like me and most people in their early 30s, this midlife crisis. And I hate to put everyone in the bracket. Maybe you're not fully going through it, but some of the points that we've picked up on today, you're going to have gone through some of that or feel some of that. And people always say to us, oh, but you're so young, you're only in your early 30s, you've got so much time ahead, you don't need to worry. It's like, that is not how the world works. We do need to worry. We need to set ourselves up. We need to make sure we're stable. We're just not sure, not necessarily how to do it, but which is the right way that we want to do it. And stop comparing ourselves.
I'm sure I was like upset when I was younger, but I've never had this feeling like this before, where I feel like, oh my goodness, am I making the right? Like I told you, I can't make a decision. Like I've said this many times, like, should I do this? Should I do that? Like I can't, because I feel like, what if I make the wrong decision and my family suffers, or blah, 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 like you said. And so I just think
it is crazy. I feel the same way. I'm like, oh, should I leave my job? Should I stay in my job? Should I go back to my job? Should I move to our apartment, or should I still keep renting this apartment? And then when you come to me and you're like, eventually we're going to move back to South Africa because we think it will be better for Kira when she's older, whatever. And then I'm like, oh my God, is it going to be better for me? Should I move back to England? And then I start questioning things because people around you are questioning things. I have a friend in England who's going through a divorce because she's not happy. And then I start comparing my husband to her husband and thinking, does my husband do that? Is he like that?
Oh my gosh, yes.
So like things like that, Again, comparing.
And so when you told me about your friend who was going through it, I was like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm not saying I'm unhappy. I just think since having a child, my husband used to be like my be all end all. I was so in love. We would be always together, happy. And I'm not saying we're not happy now. It's just after having a kid and there's a third person, I feel like I want him to, I see other people, and I told you, like I see them. We have one guy that we know, and he is the default parent, and I just think, wow, I don't want to be with that guy. What I'm saying is, like, it's just nice comparison. And my husband has done a lot now because we've spoken about it. I'm very open with him, and I tell him what I'm frustrated about. But before, I'd just hold it in and just let it go. And that's my own fault. I've told you this. I was like, it's my own fault. I should have made it clear from the beginning, like, this is not okay. So now slowly I'm communicating and getting better at telling him why I'm feeling like the way I feel. And it's actually working out great. But yes, when you told me about your friend, I was like, oh my goodness, that sounds just like
all
mine.
The reasons she wants a divorce are the things that I have an issue with right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And it does say here, another one is difficulty in relationships and inability to commit. So when you're experiencing a quarter-life crisis, thinking about everything long-term feels overwhelming and paralyzing. The inability to commit comes from not knowing where life plans to take you next, making anything in the distant future feel incomprehensible. Difficulty in relationships may also be a sign that you are outgrowing those relationships and are no longer mutually beneficial as they may once have been. You know, and that's not just your partners that you're with, it's also friendships.
I have so many friends like that. I thought we would carry on being friends after having my child. And you know what? I used to be very close to this one girl. She'd spent so much time with me during my pregnancy, and now I hardly ever talk to her or see her. It's not because we like had a fight. We just had a falling out, and that's just life. We grow out of friendships, we grow out of relationships, and that's okay. But
and
for
my
me,
friendships also, I'm not friends with half of the people I was a couple of years ago because certain decisions were made that I didn't really agree with, and choices and expectations of what a friend should be, but also what they do for fun and what I do for fun. You were like, I don't have interest in that. You know, it's not as interesting for me anymore. So I outgrew those friendships, and I had to realize I cut them off, but not so like dramatically, just, you know, start distancing yourself and meeting new people, right?
So I wanted to ask you, so is there things that you feel like you've done to help yourself? Because I know you suffer from a lot of like health anxiety, but also not just health anxiety, because I know you've also been thinking like, you know, big life changes. Is there something
one of the things was feeling trapped in my career, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, and not feeling free. And I asked myself the question, like, what is it that I want from life and what makes me happy? And most people will turn around to you and say, oh, just being able to do what I want when I want. But that's not that specific. So I watched the podcast Diary of a CEO. It's one of the top running podcasts in the UK, and they had a financial specialist on there, and it really actually helped. A lot of his episodes have helped me, actually, if I'm honest. And I really did sit there and think, what is my wealthy life? Like, what do I want from life? And I didn't want to think about what other people want. I didn't want to think about what I want people to perceive what I have. It was like, what do I want? A nice car? No, not interested. A property? Not interested, but I've got one, so we'll keep paying the mortgage. It makes sense financially that way. To travel, yes. To travel in style, yes. I like nice hotels. I like nice airplanes, things like that. To be able to go home and visit my family whenever I want. Yes. So what does that mean for me? That means the current job that I'm in won't work for me long term, because the hours that I have to do and the holidays that I have to take, they don't fall in line with that. So, okay, so I would eventually have to change my job. I will have to work for myself. I will have to work either for a company that allows me that freedom, or I will have to work for myself, which is something I can do here. So I sat down and I just went through what am I happy with? And I am really fortunate. I'm very happy in my marriage. I do have a really supportive husband who is there for me and will do anything for me and the baby. And I know he's going to be a good support system, but I'm also realistic. Things might change once we have a child. But for now, I
take
believe
it step by step.
And for now, I know what he's like and the type of man that he is. And I chose someone to have a child with that I knew, even if we weren't in love, will this man be a good dad? And I knew he would. We're still in love now, but if in the future we're not, I know he'll still be a good dad. So I just sat down and I thought, I think people need to sit down and think, what is your definition of a good life? Because no one else has the same. Some people like cars, some people like properties, some people like nice jewelry, some people like nice clothes. If that is what makes you happy, do that. But it can't be everything. And those things don't make me happy. So I had to really sit down and think, what makes me happy, and don't compare to anyone else around me.
Oh, yes. And this is something that I actually thought about when, like, eventually when we go back to South Africa, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be able to have Christmas and all the holidays. I don't have to make up. Okay, here in Taiwan, if we have a long weekend, let's say the public holiday is on a Tuesday, so they'll give us the Monday, but you have to make it up on a Saturday. So we have to work one Saturday that month to make up for that Monday. So it'll be a Monday schedule. But overseas, where I'm from, if you have the Monday, Tuesday off, and Monday is not a public holiday, they'll give it to you. You don't have to make it up. You don't need to work overtime. So, there is perks that I'm like, okay, at least this will be good for us. If we want to go visit Alex's family, we don't have to wait. We don't have to see like how our schedules will match. We will have similar schedules and holiday schedules. So that is something that's keeping me a little bit happier to think about. Yes.
Yeah, and that was the same for me. Like Christmas is so important to me and my family. We're big Christmas people. So for me, if I want to go home for a month during Christmas, I can go home for a month. I don't want to live in England. I don't want to be there constantly. Yeah. I want to be able to go there whenever I can. Yeah. So for me, I'm going to take a month, work or working for myself. Off we go to England for a month and not have to worry. Yeah. Work from there or not work for a month. Yeah. It's fine. Like I can prepare for that. Yeah. So I really think if you are someone at home, do you know what? I think was it Jordan Peterson, and I'm a big fan of his. I know he's a controversial character, but he said there's nothing more scary. It may seem scary leaving a job or a situation that you're used to, but it's far more scary staying in it.
Yeah.
It's true. So I think everyone needs to think about that. Like, is your job making you happy? Because if it's not, put a plan in order to leave. Don't just leave. Put a plan in order first. Think about what you can do to leave and then gradually do it and then leave and do something for yourself. If you're not happy in your marriage, talk it out, try and sort it out. If you can't, leave. Don't stay in something that you're not happy in, because in 10, 20 years time, you're going to regret that. Yeah. And we're talking about the quarter life crisis, right? Yeah. You've still got time. And like I said to you earlier, my friend who's going through a divorce, I'm so proud of her and so happy for her because she hasn't been happy for so long. And now she's making these decisions and she's 33. She's still got time, she's putting a plan into place to make her life better for her.
Yeah.
And she deserves that.
Yes.
And so does her husband. He deserves a better life also. Yeah.
So I think those are all very good pointers. Like talking about it just makes me feel more like, all the things that we can do. It doesn't seem so not unavailable. What is it? It seems like I can actually
unobtainable.
Yes, unattainable. It seems like okay, I can do it. When we break it down like that, it's like okay.
Just break it down into what is important for you. And if you are someone at home listening to this, I really hope if you are feeling, my life's not great and I don't know what I want to do and everyone else seems to have their shit together. No one's got their shit together. Okay. Especially on social media. No one has their shit together. Like even if they've got some of the things that does make them happy, they're still working towards other things that can make them happy and bettering their life. Like no one has it together.
Yeah.
So, I just think, identifying your triggers and what you want is important to get through this awkward stage that we seem to be going through in our early 30s.
Yes.
And I think I commented this on one of our very first podcasts. They say that it kind of has nothing to do with it, but you'll be able to relate to it.
Yeah.
They say that being in your 30s without children is like being in your 20s, but with money.
Yeah. And it's so true.
Yeah. So,
I would be so rich.
If you are in your 30s and you do have children and you do have less money and you are struggling a little bit, just think the sacrifice is worth it.
Yes.
I
definitely think so. Easier. Yeah. And also, I'm not saying, sorry, for the 30-year-olds that are not childless, please, we're not saying that, it's
No, we're
easy.
saying that you're having it like your 20s.
Yes.
You're enjoying it. No.
You're enjoying it.
But you're probably still going through that crisis.
Something. Everyone has something that they're going through.
Should I not have kids? Should I get married? Should I not get married? I don't own my own property, but my cousin owns 3.
Should I put my career first? Should I not? That's how it is. So yes,
I don't have any diamonds.
Yeah.
I don't know, Gucci or whatever. Like none of it matters. Okay,
Yes.
just do what makes you happy and make the right choices, because we're here once, right? And it's not all so serious.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay. All right, I think we'll leave it there this week.
Thanks
for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you next week.
Okay. Bye-bye.